Did you know space has its own scent?
Have you ever wondered if space smells like anything? Well, astronauts who have ventured outside of their spacecraft say that space actually has a smell. When they come back inside after a spacewalk and remove their helmets, they get a strong whiff of what they've described as seared steak, hot metal, and even welding fumes. Our Earth's atmosphere carries different scents, like rain, grass, and ocean breeze. But space is a vacuum, meaning it shouldn't really smell like anything at all. So why the metallic odor? It's believed that the smell comes from dying stars, celestial dust, and other cosmic chemicals floating around in space. This scent clings to the astronauts' suits and equipment when they're out walking in the cosmos. Scientists are so fascinated by this that they've even tried to recreate and capture the essence of space here on Earth. This space scent could help train astronauts for future missions, getting them used to the sensory experiences of space. Next time you gaze up at the stars, just imagine the galaxy has its own unique smell.
Can parrots really talk like us?
Ever been to a zoo and heard a parrot talking back at you? It's pretty wild, right? But the truth is, parrots don't really talk like we do. They can mimic human speech to sound like they're having a chat with you. This is because parrots have a vocal organ called the syrinx. Now, the cool thing about the syrinx is that it's super flexible and can make a whole bunch of different sounds, including the ones we make when we speak. Parrots are also pretty smart birds with sharp listening skills, which means they can copy sounds they hear often, like a person's voice or a ringing telephone. What's even more interesting is that some parrots seem to understand the context of words and can use them appropriately, although they don't understand the meaning the way humans do. So when a parrot says hello as you walk by, it's not actually saying hi. It's just repeating sounds that it's learned. This imitation game makes parrots the perfect feathery copycats at the center of many fun conversations.
Melty mystery. Why does chocolate melt in your mouth?
You might have noticed how a delicious piece of chocolate melts away in your mouth, turning into a smooth and creamy treat. But why does chocolate have this superpower? The secret is in the cocoa butter, one of the main ingredients in chocolate. Cocoa butter melts just below your body temperature, meaning it starts to melt the moment it hits your tongue. That's why it feels like it's melting in your mouth, because it actually is. This magical melting point is one reason why chocolate feels so luxurious when you eat it. Plus, good chocolate makers carefully mix and heat the chocolate in a process called tempering. This special step helps chocolate to keep a shiny look and a satisfying snap when you break it, all while ensuring it will still melt as it should when you enjoy it. So, every time you savor a piece of chocolate, you're not just eating a snack, you're experiencing a little bit of food science at work.
The heavyweight champion of sneezes. The elephant's nose mystery.
When you sneeze, it can shoot out like a mini rocket. But have you ever thought about how animals sneeze? Let's talk about one of the largest animals walking our earth, the mighty elephant. With their huge size, you might think they have the most powerful sneezes, but it turns out that's not really the case. Sure, when an elephant sneezes, it's a big event because they have a long trunk to send that sneeze through. But in proportion to their size, an elephant's sneeze isn't as strong as you might expect. And here's another neat fact. An elephant's trunk is incredibly versatile. It acts like a long nose that can smell and pick up things, but it is also like a hand they use to grab items, and even like a hose to drink or shower themselves with water. Next time you hear somebody sneeze, imagine if they had a trunk. It could be a little like having a built-in trumpet to announce every sneeze to the world.
The brainy bunch. Can sheep recognize faces?
What if I told you sheep could remember your face? Yep, these fluffy farm animals are not just about woolly jumpers. They're pretty smart too. Researchers have found that sheep can recognize and remember at least 50 different faces for over 2 years. That's quite a memory they've got packed under those curly horns. And we're not just talking about other sheep faces. They can learn human faces as well. This incredible ability is similar to some primates and even us humans. The scientists showed that sheep could recognize photographs of celebrities like Emma Watson and Barack Obama, proving that they can remember familiar faces even in 2 dimensions. So why do sheep need to remember faces, you ask? Well, it's important for them to recognize their friends and family in the flock, and it helps them stick together and stay safe. It's like when you spot your friends at the park, you know who to hang out with. Next time you see a sheep, give a friendly wave. It might just remember you.
Eyes full of ocean, the sea, inside a scallop.
What if I told you that there's a sea creature out there with dozens of eyes, and each one is like its own little undersea crystal ball? I'm talking about scallops. These are not your typical shellfish. Scallops have up to 200 tiny eyes lining their edge of their shells. These eyes might be super small, but they're mighty in function. They can see movement and detect changing lights and shadows, helping scallops stay alert to avoid hungry predators. Also, the coolest part about their eyes is that they contain tiny mirrors made of crystals. These mirrors bounce the light around inside their eyes so they can see what's happening in the ocean around them. While scallop eyes might not be as sharp as human eyes, they are definitely one of the most unusual and sophisticated visual systems in the animal kingdom. Imagine if you could see all around you without even turning your head. That's kind of what it's like to be a scallop with a 360-degree underwater view.
Is your vision truly unique? Uncover the colorful secret your eyes hold.
Did you know that the colors you see might be different from what someone else sees? It's all about something called tetrachromacy. Humans typically have 3 types of color receptors in their eyes to see red, blue, and green. But hold on, because some people have a superpower called tetrachromacy, which means they have a 4th type of color receptor, a super one. These lucky individuals can see a whole range of colors that most of us can't even imagine, like different shades of ultraviolet. Here's another layer to this rainbow riddle. Scientists think this might be more common in women. While men have just 1 X chromosome, women have 2, which means they have double the chance to have the gene for this extra pigment. It's true, not all superheroes wear capes. Some just have this epic vision. Imagine seeing the world with an extra splash of color. It's like having a built-in filter to make everything pop. Isn't it mind-bending to think about how everyone's view of the world can be so beautifully unique?
Can cookies tell time? The secret baking clock in your kitchen.
Ever heard that cookies can tell time? This isn't about cookie-shaped clocks, but a cool kitchen science hack. When making chocolate chip cookies, the time you let the dough rest before baking can make a world of difference. If you bake right after mixing, you'll get a tasty cookie, sure. But if you let the dough chill in the fridge for at least 24 to 36 hours, magic happens. The flour in the dough slowly absorbs the wet ingredients, giving a firmer dough that bakes up with better browned edges, a richer flavor, and an even chewier texture. Food scientists say this resting process lets the dough develop a deeper, more caramel-like taste, along with stronger hints of butterscotch. And there's more. Resting helps prevent the cookies from spreading out too much in the oven. So, by simply waiting a day or two, you level up your cookie game without any extra ingredients or effort. Who knew that your fridge could be a time machine for taste? Next time, try the patience test with cookie dough and taste the time-traveling difference.
A hidden castle in the middle of the sea? Discover the invisible fortress.
Imagine stumbling upon a giant castle that's completely invisible to enemies. Sounds like something out of a fantasy story, right? Wrong. Meet Fort Boyard, the real-life invisible fortress. It sits in the sea between the Ile d'Aique and the Ile d'Oléron in the west coast of France. But here's the twist. When enemies approached, all they could see was water. How? High tide. Fort Boyard was built on a bank of sand that disappears under the sea at high tide, making the fortress seem invisible and unreachable. It took almost 200 years to build this hidden gem because the engineers had to wait for low tides to work. The idea was that the fort would protect against British ships during wartime. Today, it's no longer a sneaky defense point, but a famous TV game show location. Now, people are actually eager to find it, not sail past it. Isn't it wild to think about a massive stone castle playing hide-and-seek with the sea every day?
Can you believe your taste buds have superpowers?
You might think that your tongue is just for tasting food, but it can actually do something really cool that you probably never realized. Your tongue has super taste buds that renew themselves every 2 weeks. Yes, every 2 weeks you get a brand new set of taste buds. That's why when you burn your tongue on something super hot, it heals pretty fast, and you can taste your favorite ice cream or pizza again like nothing happened. This is also why your tastes can change as you get older. Maybe you hated broccoli as a kid, but now you think it's not too bad. It's all thanks to these tiny taste bud heroes that are always changing. And guess what else? You have around 10,000 taste buds when you're young, but that number drops as you age. That's why some foods might seem less flavorful when you get older. Neat, right? Follow me for more fun facts.